I'm Michael Woodhouse. I'm the National Member of Parliament based in Dunedin, and I was diagnosed with psoriatic arthritis and ankylosing spondylitis about 13 years ago. The symptoms started some weeks after my first daughter was born, where I was having a lot of trouble just with doing basic things, lifting her, carrying her, bathing her in the tub and so on. So I was very fortunate that my GP diagnosed ankylosing spondylitis quite quickly and enabled me to get the treatment that I needed straight away. I guess the first emotion I had when I discovered I had arthritis was relief, because I'd had these symptoms bubbling away for some time and it was quite good to be able to give it a diagnosis. But that was also tinged with quite a bit of apprehension. My father had recently passed away from a heart attack, but his body had been racked with rheumatoid arthritis, and I had watched what that disease had done for him and wondered obviously whether I was going to go down a similar journey. But I think that sort of feeling went away quite quickly the more I came to understand what the disease was, what it wasn't, what I couldn't do, what limitations might be placed on me, but also the many things that I could still do with the right attitude, the right drugs, and good diet and exercise. And I guess that's what's prevailed for me over the years. Yes, I have this disease, but it doesn't define me. It's just something I have to deal with. I'm still on medication. I'm taking diclofenac and prednisone, and some of the more advanced drugs could become available to me if my condition deteriorates. But at the moment, while there are days when I wake up feeling and looking like a half-open pocket knife, and there's days of quite some pain, most of my life is relatively free of pain and restriction. So I've managed during those years to continue rugby refereeing, which was a passion of mine. I refereed Premier and representative rugby during that time. I've taken the field occasionally for my sins for the parliamentary rugby team as a player, and I hope to do that again during the Parliamentarians World Cup this year. And I ran a half marathon in January. I'm a fair weather runner, not a great runner, but I'm still able to do that. And those are the things that I think keeps me ahead of the disease. It just keeps me going, and while often that's done with some pain, I've always felt better for keeping moving. And I think that's the advice that I'd give anybody considering their future once they've been diagnosed. That is to stay ahead of it, keep on top of it, work on your diet and your lifestyle, because those are the things that you can control. You also control the way you feel about the disease, and I've got quite a determination not to let arthritis get on top of me for as long as I can, because there's some fantastic research going into pain management and to therapies. Ultimately, I think most of the people who have arthritis are going to be able to live in the future far more comfortably with the disease and without the side effects that produces than my father did, and then that many other people do right now. So I'm really optimistic about what life might be like for people with this condition, and I'm certainly one that's not prepared to stop and let arthritis take over my life. When I first found out I had the disease, I really kept it to myself mainly, not because there was any particular desire for people not to know, but I considered it a reasonably personal thing, and my close friends and family, some knew, many didn't for quite a few years, until from time to time the things that were important to me were occasionally compromised, the inability to be able to referee because of pain or dysfunction. I let people know as I needed to. After I came to Parliament and became very interested in promoting the cause of Arthritis New Zealand, I set up, with the assistance of Arthritis New Zealand, the Parliamentary Friendship Group. And there was quite a bit of publicity around that. There was a quite comprehensive local media coverage of my journey with arthritis. And so many people who didn't know that I had the disease came up to me and said, "Good on you for doing what you're doing." But also a great number of them came up and said, "You know what? I've got that same thing, and I struggle with it." But they found that knowing that other people had it was a comfort to them. It was of encouragement to them to know that people could cope very well with it. And so for that reason, I've made now the condition that I have quite public. I'm very relaxed about people knowing that I have arthritis, and if that means that people can be encouraged to or motivated by what life can be like despite that, then I think that's all to the better.